Good morning and welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Lisa D. Joining us this morning, we have Hunter Garcia, who's a veteran advocate, and founder of ComboCon. Hunter has broadcast history background, so it's kind of cool to have you back in the studio again. ComboCon, tell us about you, Hunter, and how you came to be, we know you're a veteran, so kind of talk about yourself a little bit and how you came up with ComboCon.
Yeah, of course. Grew up in St. John's. Decided before I enlisted to take place in digital media. After a lot of life events, I was like, you know what, I need to reform a few things. I need to get out of Michigan. I need structure in my life and I need that discipline. So I decided to take inspiration from my grandpa, my papa, and decided to enlist in the United States Army. And so did my time. Had a brief stint in Afghanistan for a wee bit.
You were active duty. I mean, you were definitely on the front lines.
Yeah, well, boots on ground. I did my time over at Bagram, over at Clark, over at FOB Salerno. And like in of itself is a story, but like one of those things where buy me a beer first, I'll tell you about the war. But every day brought a humbling experience of not only just taking in what's there in the situation that we all saw before our eyes on 9/11/2001 and basically seeing the repercussions of that, but also taking in what's there in the present. How are the locals treating themselves? How are they treating us? And why are they like that? I know for probably, God, it feels like a month, but it was probably lesser beforehand and during. We had to do a lot of cultural understanding and religious knowledge courses to basically understand, like, when we're there in another country with a lot of different customs and practices, a lot of stuff can get lost in translation. Sure. And that goes for any place you visit.
So what year did you start your service, Hunter?
Yeah, 2013.
So you were 2013, okay.
Yep. A little over 10 years ago, which is hard to believe.
Wow, okay.
And then went to 2014. Unfortunately, had an accident when I was overseas that cut my time short. I am a medically disabled honorary discharge veteran, but it's one of those things where because of my time getting cut short and the experiences I've experienced, that more or less led me to the public service sector of the VFW and veteran advocacy.
Because you were head of the St. John's Post, correct?
Yeah, 5 years.
Were you the youngest leader of that post?
Since World War II, apparently.
Wow.
And it's a yearly re-up each time. And the only reason I'm not still a part of it now is because I personally stepped away.
And you're focusing on other things like the ComboCon, which we will talk about that coming up too, but veterans awareness and things that you do for services for veterans.
Absolutely. When I got out of the military, one of the things that I experienced, and it turned out to be a lot of things that other people, other veterans are experiencing, is like the feeling of being welcome home and also the feeling of community amongst the veteran community. There was a lot of hang-ups that I was going with beforehand until I met the St. John's VFW and a couple of Vietnam, Korean, and World War II vets that made it be, you did good with your service. You did things that not even 1% of the population in the U.S. had the ability to do.
Or the bravery, courage. I mean, the courage alone. Thank you for your service, Hunter. I want to make sure that we do say that because you've given so much to the country and you still continue to do that.
I feel like a lot of people in public service do, and be able to help and support and be able to basically bring up everybody, and it's just hard to look inward sometimes.
Sure.
And that's a thing that I've learned, and I feel like a lot of my comrades have learned. For example, I have a Vietnam era buddy who recently has been going to the VA. His counselor there he's like, hey, I think you might have PTSD from your service. He was like, what? There's no way I have PTSD. I just have all these things that correspond with PTSD when you say it out loud, but it's one of those things. He was like, well, I think you might have to deal with this and we'll have to put on your disability report and acknowledge it. He had the opportunity to like really reflect, wow, there's a reason why I haven't really dealt with this. There's a reason why I need to focus on this.
And there shouldn't be any stigma about that. I mean, I'm sure it's more common than we even realize, but...
Oh, way more common.
Right.
And you mentioned the stigma. I think that's probably the big thing that still more or less sticks. Yeah. I mean, everyone still has that stereotypical crazy homeless veteran that pops in their mind. Unfortunately, when I say that, there's a lot of pictures that pop in people's heads. It just shows how bad the stigma is, because why are they still there? They risked life and limb and their buddies died over there. He came back with a lot, but just to more or less not less be discarded but forgotten is a thing that
and looked at that way. I mean, honestly, it should be more about helping acclimate back in society and 100%. Making sure the resources are there, and that's important. We are talking with Hunter Garcia, veteran and veteran advocate, also founder of ComboCon, which is a very cool event that you've been setting up to help vets and get awareness going for this as well. And obviously so many issues, but I'm just curious, Hunter, does the military prepare you when you start service? Do you get the mental preparation about what you're going into when it starts?
It's one of those things that you can train for, but once you're in the thick of it, it just completely changes context. It's like Mike Tyson said it best. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, but switch punches for bullets are incoming. That's where the discipline, the fortitude, and the honor that comes into doing your duty and be able to see the mission out to the very end. And that's more or less something that can be the key foundation to all these men and women that put on that uniform.
Definitely.
So I think that deserves a lot of recognition.
It does. Respect, recognition, all the things that really, I think, as a country that we've fallen short on. I mean, that's just my opinion of it. You're obviously more in the know of that than myself. I just think there should be no homeless veterans. No, there shouldn't even be a question about that stuff to me. But I know that that's still an issue. And I actually know some people, veteran relatives, are having a hard time getting connected to resources, are not getting this stuff, or maybe had some money coming in and then it got cut in half and they don't know why. And nobody's helping them.
And it's really bad because when no one helps them, there's people that try to manipulate the situation to prey upon these veterans and their surviving spouses to more or less like take what they've earned. But that's why it's very important to not more or less to become a member of the VFW or American Legion, but when you're in touch with them, they have the capabilities and resources to give you a service officer or at least point you in the right direction where, hey, this is legit. You can be able to get your resources, file your claim, and you won't have to worry about anybody skimming from the top at all. Because unfortunately, the reason why I say this is because it happens.
It happens.
Far too often.
It does happen.
Far too often.
Yes. So if a veteran's listening right now and they don't even know, how do I get involved with VFW? What do I do to become a member, to get connected to legit community that's veteran community driven?
I can use myself as a personal anecdote. Veterans Day is coming up. When you go to Veterans Day, chances are someone amongst the crowd is a member of the American Legion or the Veterans of Foreign Wars. That's your first step, basically getting a reference. And then from there, they can be able to either show you where everything is at or follow the proceeds for you to be a member. And because that's the thing too, you don't need to be a member to get what is coming to you benefit-wise.
Okay.
That is a big major thing that a lot of people get misconstrued. Once you're a veteran and you have that stuff on your DD-214 saying that you've served and you've earned these rights and you have the chance to get recognized for whatever disability or ailment that was brought upon you during your time of service, you need a professional advocate to do that. And these are the type of people that know people, or your local VA. There are different local VAs, different clinics throughout, whether it's through Battle Creek, Lansing. I know there's a spot in Saginaw that can be able to treat people, but they can be able to help you put time and resources to figure out where you need to go, the closest spot, so you can be able to receive that adequate care. Since I'm on both sides of the thing, I'm not pro VA, I'm pro veteran. That's the thing too. And I want people to reiterate, you can be anti-war and pro veteran.
Right.
Because the whole idea of when they come back is to not forget and really acknowledge and keep accountable to make sure none of this can be able to repeat itself at all.
Right.
And if it does, hold those accountable.
So ComboCon was kind of your baby. How did this come to be?
During my time of service, when I got back from deployment and basically recovering from my injuries, one of the spots on base over at 101st over in Tennessee, Kentucky, they had a gaming hot dog place. And they had all sorts of video games you can pick off the shelf and plug in, and you can face whoever is there, completely free for all. And I just realized no one is realizing what's happening outside right now. It's all being settled on the pads, whether we're playing Tekken Tag Team 2, Street Fighter 4, or whatever. Everything was captured in that moment. Because of that, I felt like that was such a good experience because you can be able to tell that they were deployed months prior or have received bullet wounds from their service or any sort of accident.
In that moment, they were just enjoying the competition and the games, huh?
Exactly. Develop the camaraderie, which ComboCon ended up bringing as a community, because back when I started this in 2017, our first one, the way I pitched it to my post was like, listen, this will bring the youth in, this will bring veterans who video game in, because we're in a new era where video games are a huge part of our culture. And trying to sell that to Vietnam and Korean War vets is a tough sell. But when it came to the day of and they saw all the people that were there and the donations that we got, it was a nice refreshing course just saying like, hey, these people care about us and this is a different way of them showing it.
It's a team building and a community building, and it's something that makes people feel commonality. So like you said, the different people, and they're just having fun doing these competitive games. So ComboCon, is it all video game based? Kind of explain what you guys do at ComboCon.
Yeah, so it's a fighting game tournament setting. It's going to be held in Blockhouse Esports Arena in Elmo, Michigan, and we're going to be having 8 different tournaments that are going to be streamed live on twitch.tv/Matchstick Melee. He's going to be our streamer again. Great guy from Ohio. Travels across state lines to be here. And from there, we basically broadcast to the world these 8 different tournaments and very local and different athletes that come by. At this point, I can say across the world. We had people from Australia come by, Ireland come by, and Canada come by.
Wow.
And that doesn't even include the continental U.S. states. And it just shows that the global outreach for veteran support is not only just universal, but it does cross cultures in other countries. Because that's another thing too. Why would a Canadian or Irish influencer want to come out here to Michigan to support U.S. veterans? Because they understand the plight, because they understand the whole concept of those who give a part of themselves for something greater should be recognized for that. And the fact that it's across U.S. borders that they believe that, why don't we hold ourselves to that type of standard?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Which number is this for ComboCon?
This is our 6th.
This is 6. So you just had the 5th one a couple months ago we had you in.
Yep.
How did that go, and how many people did you have participate?
That was such a great tournament. It was for Cinco de Combo. It was held in May. We had about 30 people compete.
Okay.
Fantastic showing. We ended up raising quite a few $100s for charity. We had a good portion go to our District 9 for post-relief. We had a portion go to the St. John's VFW for their relief fund. And we also had a portion go to a veteran's widow, to one of my close friends. Rest in peace, Sergeant Marchek, gone but not forgotten. Love you, brother. Had a chance to do all that.
It's veterans, their families, because it's not just the individual coming back from service. It's everyone who loves them. It's all part of what makes this an issue. I mean,
it's a community event.
Yes.
And I mean, that's part of the reason why it's an open challenge for everybody and it's a free event to attend, because it's all grassroots. It all starts with the community and how we support our veterans here at home, being called similar things that our Vietnam veterans were called. A very hot topic coming out, and it's still a thing that's going on today. But realizing that that wouldn't be a thing if they were educated on what was really happened and what we go through. Even then, if the complex was just honest with us in the first place and why we were there. I didn't anticipate being there for the reasons that we're supposedly coming out with. And with the war just ending not even a year ago and seeing how we pulled out and left everything there, it just broke my heart. I did openly weep for the locals, because it's no different than when a bunch of any sort of radical hijacks the system and disrupts the entire sanctity of safety for everybody.
Right. Safety for so many people.
Unfortunately, we're seeing the repercussions of it. And it's one of those things that need to be addressed because it's a huge global issue.
We're talking this morning with Hunter Garcia, veteran and veterans advocate, also founder of ComboCon. So ComboCon, let's talk more about this. This is video game fun. 8 different challenges is what you said?
8 different tournaments, 4 tournaments a day. Saturday, we're going to be going through the Capcom experience, a history, if you will. Throughout the day, we're going to be playing every key game that Capcom produced that left its historical mark on the genre. Street Fighter Third Strike, Ultra Street Fighter 4, which is known as the video game that saved fighting games, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, a lot of people's personal favorite, and capping off with the recent and modern stay of Street Fighter 6. Show that you're the best for Capcom Day. We have all those going on, and even then, on each tournament is have its own prize pool. So you're going to get money regardless if you win the tournament or not.
There's awesome prizes you got.
Awesome prizes. Yeah. And on Sunday, we're going to be having a mystery tournament. It's going to be a callback. If you were there for our first event, you might know what it is. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. I gotta love anime games. I don't know what's happening on screen or what the whole lore is behind every character, but gosh darn, it's fun to look at.
So we're talking about the tournaments going on, so it's not little individual screens. They're big screen, right?
We're going big on the screen.
So everybody can see the games happening.
Oh, yeah. The crowd gets into it. We had people booing last year. We had people cheering last year. Awesome. We had people laughing last year, because that's the camaraderie basis of everything. This is what fighting games bring.
They root for them,
Oh, yeah. And then we're capping off the evening with Guilty Gear Strive, another fantastic anime fighter, and Tekken 8, Bandai Namco's best.
ComboCon6 is happening leading up to Veterans Day, correct? So this is November 9th and 10th.
Yep. It's going to be Veterans Day weekend, hopefully acknowledging what's there at that time. Hopefully the light doesn't go off at 7 p.m. because because we're going to be partying at the end of it too, because it's going to be a lot of tournaments going on, a lot of community outreach, and a lot of activities for basically everyone to have a great time there, because you don't have to have fun just by competing. If you're just there as a supporter and basically supporting your local fighting game community, FGC, you're basically contributing to the healthiness of a community. You're showing that support, you're showing that presentness that I felt when I was at Fort Campbell playing on the pads. Like nothing else is happening. We're all here just having fun and competing. That's the shared experience that I heard. That's the phrase that people use for this type of event.
That's super cool. I mean, it's about bringing people together and doing it in honor of veterans. It's amazing. So what time are the festivities happening Saturday and Sunday? What time does it start? And then you think it'll wind down?
Yeah, the event's going to be opening up when the restaurant opens up, because Blockhouse Esports Arena, fantastic restaurant. They open up at 11.
So there'll be food for people to order too, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a one-stop shop. There's going to be alcohol. There's going to be food. There's going to be all sorts of sponsored goodies for our athletes. And it's just going to be a fantastic time. Everything kicks off at 11. Tournaments will probably start 12:30, 1 o'clock. We're probably going to run until like 8. And then after that, maybe social hour, happy hour.
And just hang out and meet people and talk and have fun. Yeah.
Great meet and greets, because we're uniting a lot of communities here. Each community has its own culture and has its own gameplay on everything. And it's just really a meeting of the minds, because sure, we can run a hard set where we've been gaining for 15 minutes straight on grand finals. But you know what? I'll shake your hand afterwards and I'm going to ask you how you beat me, because that's the type of culture that we want to have. Yeah. How did you do that? I didn't know buttons could be pressed that way.
And you said about 30 people or so last time? Right?
Yeah, there was about 30 competitors throughout the 3-day weekend last time.
And what age ranges? So how young was the youngest and oldest the oldest?
The youngest that has ever pulled up was 13, and they pulled second place at their very first event.
Wow.
Just a fantastic showing. And in regards to oldest, maybe 40, maybe 50.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those things.
That's cool, because it's bringing all kinds of different age groups together and all kinds of different people. And so then you have the competitors, and you also have open to the public to come and cheer on their favorites and just show up and have fun and support the community and the veteran community.
It's going to be open to the public, and the restaurant will be open to the public as well. So if you want to stop by and have a drink and watch some cool gameplay and us getting hype while we raise money for charity, boy, if I have a place for you to visit. November 9th and 10th weekend.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Again, it is happening in Alma at the Blockhouse of Alma, and it is the ComboCon6. So what kind of prizes do you have? I know you mentioned some prizes. They're cash prizes, right?
Yeah, ComboCon victory. Some of the major things that you could win when you achieve your ComboCon victory is cash money. So far, first place has $50 as a bonus, second place $30, third place $20, whatever's in the pot from buy-ins, also a medal. So if you win a tournament, you win all those, just recognizing your tournament accomplishment. Now, the ComboCUP.
Oh, the ComboCUP is the big deal, right?
This is the big deal.
Okay.
From 8 tournaments, we get 1 grand champion.
Oh.
I've done spreadsheeting, product of the school system. I know how to do math in Excel. And I decided to come up with a score system to, when people participate in tournaments, how many points they get. And then after that, after the weekend, depending on how many tournaments they did and how well they did, all those points get added up. And then you get your winner of the ComboCUP, which last year, the winner, Z-Fan, got to give him a shout out, because he won it twice in a row. He won the first one and the second one. He ended up winning about $100 in cash and about $200 in prizes.
Nice. Okay.
Along with the cup, which in of itself sponsored by Larry Cushion Trophy, so it's like $300 value. And because of one of our sponsors, Jepson's Malort, which is a liquor company out of Chicago, it's a big mid-Michigan reference. There's going to be a few people laughing maniacally like, oh no. But thankfully, they're sponsoring us. They're some great people. I love them. The way I tell it to my trophy designer, if you're going to make the cup, make it so it's drinkable. I want people to pour it in there.
ComboCon is happening. So how does a competitor get involved? Do they have to be a veteran, first of all, to do this, to compete?
No, if you're a veteran, even better. I'll have a special section in regards to that for acknowledgement.
Okay.
But it is an open challenge to everybody. If you want to take part in our tournaments, each tournament has a entry fee. But once you get past that, you're on start.gg/ComboCon6. So start.gg/ComboCon6. That's where you'll be able to achieve all of your registration needs, mark up all your tournaments that you want to be a part of, and also prepaid before beforehand.
So if someone's listening, I want to find out more info about ComboCon. The easiest way to find you guys on social is probably to search ComboCon.
Yep. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, we have a start.gg, but that's how we get our grassroots communications out there.
Okay, so definitely just ComboCon. Pretty easy to search.
Yep. ComboCon6, I think, will take you to where you need
directly.
to go.
Okay.
And we have a lot coming up in regards to that. We have a Facebook event, so if you want to RSVP to that, facebook.com/ComboCon6, ComboCon Victory.
Again, we're talking with Hunter Garcia, who is a veteran and veteran advocate, also founder of ComboCon, which is happening Veterans Weekend, November 9th and 10th. Are you still looking for other sponsors? Because you have a couple that you mentioned. Is there other sponsors that you're looking for?
Yeah, so far we've been sponsored by a lot of great people, a lot of them by accident, which is funny. We started out with Malort basically just saying like, hey, you guys are kind of well regarded out here in the Midwest FGC. Do you guys want this to be an official thing? And they were like, absolutely. And same thing with Joji Mufu, who turns out to be a YouTuber with a couple million subscribers. I find this out after the fact. He has a line of smelling salts, and that's been seen on Joe Rogan Experiences. It's known as the world's strongest smelling salts. I had a batch I gave to the commentators last time. We had a blast with it. We had a highlight reel and everything. It was so funny. But he caught wind of that. I sent him the stuff, and he was like, I would also love to be a part of this, especially with the cause, along with some other supporters, are giving the athletes their just due. So there's going to be complimentary smelling salts and Jepson's Malort for our athletes and for those participating, just as a thank you and to give back to show that the athletes are a key component of this community and they deserve their just rewards. And
you're looking for more sponsors too. So if someone's interested, any type of business you're looking for?
Yeah, feel free to hit me up. We do appreciate financial donations or sponsorships. One of the key things I've done in the past is charity exhibitions where I would bring key fighting game players from different parts of the world to have them face off for charity in games of their choice or community events of that choice. And that's a really good way of gets more eyes on the cause, because there you get that crossover from their fans and also the people that are being affected by these issues that I want to bring forward.
And are you looking for any volunteers for the event to help out with, just to lend some extra help at the scene, at the site?
Feel free to come on by that weekend. It's one of those things where a lot of this is a solo endeavor. A lot of it is just support, attendance. If you want to help out, come on by, share the event, show that.
Share the excitement, be part of the community, be part of, cheering on your favorites and supporting and raising awareness. So
big time. Because, that's why from the jump, I wanted this event to be streamed live to people on the internet so they can be able to have that outreach, because it's like, yes, we're here in the middle of Michigan, but this is a global message that we're sending of taking care of your own and people holding things accountable.
You have a lot of things that you've been doing to help veterans and raise awareness. What about your grave conservation efforts? You've been doing that, and I didn't know this was an issue, but just want to hear from your perspective.
Yeah. One of the big things that's mentioned in both the VFW and American Legion charter statement is the preservation and history of our dead. And I feel like once you're in the ground, care for you and your grave shouldn't stop there. So one of the things that I done with my research is, so how do we take care of our veterans? What's the gold standard? So I looked up in Arlington National Cemetery's database and I figured out that what they use for a cleaning solution, D2 Biological Solutions. Anytime that a gravesite is used with a pressure washer, I cry a little on the outside, because sure, you're getting it clean, but it's basically like peeling the skin and saying that you're shaving.
Deteriorating the integrity
of everything. Right? And then this stuff, it kills whatever's on it, the mold, the mildew, and the lichens, I believe that they're called. Whatever plant life basically embeds itself in the stonework that basically degrades everything. And I've been basically going around Johnny Appleseeding it across mid-Michigan and rural Michigan, trying to find whatever grave sites I can from veterans or graves of innocents and just touch it up and just make sure that their graves preserved.
Wow.
If you've seen the Clinton County Veterans Memorial and seen all that brickwork, I've recently done that.
It's respect. It's like you said, the caring doesn't stop once you're in the ground.
You don't notice how much mold and moss is on a monument until you clean it all off, because at that point it's like, what have we been doing? That's one of the things I want to raise awareness on, because a lot of these practices can very much harm the stone or destroy the stone, because we're getting at that point where if stuff's lost the time, it's really hard to irreversible effects, but also you never know what can happen to it because it's been worn for so long into such a weakened state.
Hunter, can you talk about what the community overall can do to support veterans and mental health? What do you think that we could do on a day-to-day basis? Obviously come to ComboCon, ComboCon because that's important. But what do you think the community as a whole could do to support veterans that we may not be aware of?
I feel like education is a good part, and understanding what really happened and acknowledging the side effects of what happened. Not only is it swept under the rug, it's almost like a gaslighting manipulation tactic where it didn't really happen that way, or you might be over exaggerating.
Like validating, 100% validating what veterans have gone through, what they go through every day.
Yeah, it's the hard stuff. That's part of the reason what I have addressed during my events, because I released PSAs throughout, and some of the things we touched on, the veterans, the spending in the Department of Defense and the VA, the cut down and the budget of orthopedics and of prosthetics for veteran, considering 30% of veterans right now are en route to losing a limb within the next 5 years.
Wow.
That's a startling statistic if I've ever seen one.
And there's cut in spending going on.
They cut in 6%. Just like we're not even spending that much going into it, and we just got done with a 20-year campaign, and we're not readying for what's going to happen as a result of not only their service, but what's happening now with this opioid crisis and this fentanyl crisis. Let's face it, everyone just wants to escape. That's why they're using. So why?
And they're not addressing all the mental health stuff because it's huge.
It's crazy stuff that's happening. You're exactly right.
So if a veteran's listening right now, or someone knows a veteran that may be in need and doesn't know where to turn, what do you suggest they do to get help?
If there's any men or women that has served, I want to let you know that you are welcome home. You do have a case. Your story does matter. And there are people out there that are willing to help you and support you. It may seem hard and it may seem like you're the only one, but trust me, there are good ones out there. It took me about 9 years to get what was properly coming to me after my stuff. But if it wasn't for the help of those that actually cared and didn't just pass me along the call chain or refer me to someone else because they couldn't be able to handle it, that type of stuff, those type of people that actually care, that I encourage that we put the spotlight on, these are the people of the community that can be able to help you get where you need to be. It's hard to believe a VA official ever said that it's a veteran's choice to be homeless. Like, man, are you even doing your job? We need to understand that there are bad ones, but there are also good ones that actually want to do their job. So
if you get a bad advocate, you need to keep going.
Keep pushing it. Don't give up. The more cages you rattle, you'll probably get them in trouble. Good for you. It's one of those things, because it's this type of stuff that needs to happen to keep those accountable, because we're veterans. We've been through it. Just because we come back doesn't mean you forget. And it doesn't mean that we're useless anymore just because we're not in control of millions of dollars of equipment. Where's the respect behind it? It's hard to get the overwhelming respect, especially with how little morale is these days.
Right.
So not only events like this, but I'm hoping to raise the tide for everybody. Hopefully,
by raising the awareness, I mean, that helps immensely, just helps, because people that are not aware would be outraged. Like what you're talking about is getting me fired up. But if I didn't know, if we don't have this conversation, I wouldn't know what was going on either.
And trust me, there are others that have gone through worse for much longer. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were told to stay quiet about it and just not make a fuss about anything.
And don't stay quiet. That's Hunter's advice. Don't stay quiet. No.
You have the opportunity to take control of this. And just because it was done by someone in a higher position doesn't mean that it is the correct position. And there's bad leadership out there, and that goes in the civilian sector out there. That's another thing that I had to learn. There's not always good leadership.
No.
You have to find it.
You have to keep searching until you find it, exactly. And ComboCon, we want to stress again, this is a great event happening. It's going to be fun. It's going to raise awareness for all the veteran issues. And where is that happening? We need some more details on that, Hunter.
Alma, Blockhouse Esports Arena. It is going to be a fantastic time. It's going to be in downtown Alma, right next to the college, right next to where the old Opera House used to be. It's a fantastically renovated building. They really popped off since the pandemic. They've been promoting. They've been doing a great job, having a great business in of itself and uniting community. And so when I got a hold of them, they were like, let's do it.
Heck yeah, let's do it, right? So November 9th and 10th at the Blockhouse of Alma. And easiest way to get information, when people want to go on socials, where are they going to find you?
Feel free just to hit us up at ComboCon6 or on Facebook and on Twitter. We're going to be having live donations go out through that weekend. So feel free to catch us live in person or on the streaming, twitch.tv.com/matchstickmelee. That's where we're going to be streaming for the next 2 2 days of November 9th and 10th. So if you want to donate live there, we'll have online links for your support. And it all is going to veterans organizations through District 9. I want to see what help we can be able to do down there. And also with what's happening with the hurricanes presently, I want to see if the district can be able to do anything with that. If they haven't thought of anything, I'll tell them to think about it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. You got to raise noises.
Well, thank you so much for all you do. Hunter Garcia, veterans advocate, founder of ComboCon. Find you on socials. People can message you for more information. Donations are welcome. We want the public to come out and watch, and we also want the competitors to sign up. And the best way, again, to get signed up.
If you want to compete, ComboCon6, registration is open. Start.gg/ComboCon6. Anybody can sign up. Anybody can join. This is an open challenge to everybody. I have 8 tournaments lined up. We're going to go through a history of Capcom, Street Fighter Third Strike, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Street Fighter 6 on Saturday, our mystery callback tournament, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Guilty Gear Strive, and Tekken 8, November 9th, November 10th. It's going to be an excellent time, and feel free to stick around for our community events and our meetups, combos for a cause, raising morale, and raising good times for everybody.
Thank you so much for coming in, Hunter. We appreciate it, and good luck with ComboCon 6.
Thank you, Lisa.
You've been listening to In Focus, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.